in the ring of life.
What were these just kind of like rough songs, or were these songs where you were writing verses and bridges?
These songs turned into, man, we cut Queen of Sanity there.
Oh.
But eventually, Amir replayed drums over it, and James Forza got on it. But the original demo, we did it there. I wrote that song pretty much at his house. Love Poems, When Will You Call, recorded right at his house, like before Soundwaves KPFK.
So these are kind of rough sketches of what eventually kind of made its way to First Born Second then.
Love Poems was exactly what we did in his house. When Will You Call, exactly what we did in his house. Queen of Sanity, the vocals is exactly what I did at his house.
And this is the age of what, 18, 17?
19, 18, 19, yeah.
How in terms of, because you mentioned Amir, Questlove, when did you link that circle? I mean, was there already a circle, or did everyone kind of just piece together?
Well, I met them. I didn't really know Amir, but I knew of his mystique, like around Philly. Like he was just always like an open kind of cat. Like even when he wasn't in town, he had a house in Philly that I used to go to jam sessions at his house. He wasn't never there, but I met Scott Storch there. Like Cass would just hang out at his house. And
because they were already albums deep by that point.
Yeah, and Cass would just hang out at his house and jam. I never met him. I didn't meet him until like after my demo. We did this demo, which is pretty much the songs at Aaron's house. I linked up with the Entume brothers, and they slipped the tape to Q-Tip, and Q-Tip really kind of started the vibe.
Really?
Mm-hmm. He started the talk, and that's how I met Amir.
Were you reluctant at that point to kind of pursue it as something like for real, or were you just kind of messing around, or were you like, I'm kind of getting over this rainbow and getting to this pot of gold?
Actually, I was messing around, and the Entume cats were like, yo, you should just, dude, like, don't you want to reach younger people? Like, only old people listen to jazz, man. You got to do something more hipper to me.
Yeah.
Like, you could do a jazz album when you're 50.
Right. Yeah. Sleep on that for a minute.
But, why don't you do something a little slicker, add your own vibe to it, but, reach your generation, man.
But even at that age, I mean, you were saying you're expanding your vocabulary. Were you still kind of in the dark in terms of what was going on currently in the musical landscape?
No, I mean, I liked other type of music. My brother was a big Wu-Tang fan, so I knew all of this stuff. It's just my main love was jazz, But I knew Tribe Called Quest, The Roots, all of those cats was dope. And plus, everybody in my high school, Roots went to my high school. They're alumni of the same high school.
Performing Arts High School.
Yeah.
That's where Amir and Tariq met up, right?
Yeah, so I knew about them. It was just, I had my thing that I liked. Plus, I was always like emulating my pops,
The funny thing about, because honestly, I didn't learn until maybe a day ago. I thought, and this is a testament to your depth of musical expertise, I thought you were a lot older than you really are. And like when I first heard First Born Second, I thought you were already like 27, 28. But you were only like 20 when they came out, right?
Yeah, I got signed when I just turned 19. I got signed.
Those are some heavy songs. Like, how the hell are you writing about love at such a young age, man? Was it just kind of from being just in tune with what was going on, or?
It comes from being a loser in high school, and just being played a lot.
I'm wearing your same jersey, brother. Believe me, I was on the same team.
That's how that went down.
Now, the production on that album was super lush. Raphael Sadiq, Dr. Dre, and the list goes on and on. How did that kind of come together? Was that via the label, or were you kind of hooking up with them independently?
Independently. Those cats, they called me. Like, it was a very random, actually. Like, I always knew when I got the deal, I knew I wanted to work with these cats, but everything just kind of fell into place when I met Amir, he loved my stuff so much that like he got me a background gig singing with D'Angelo.
Wow.
And then from there, like I met all the big time cats. Like Roy Hargrove was in that band, Pino Palladino,
Wow.
like Spanky. That was just a really star-studded band. Like, and from then on, like Ali Shaheed Muhammad used to hang out at our rehearsals. I only did one gig. I got fired. But like, though that experience, like I was rooming with the cat that really played a lot on my new record, Chuck Treese, and he's a big like punk cat in Philly, like punk rock cat. He played with the Bad Brains, so I've just been blessed to be around like cool cats that just take me under their wing, you know, and just teach me stuff.
Do you think that ability to kind of just almost like double dutch, just kind of get in the mix with all these big names, kind of came from running with your dad and being around all these older heads and kind of learning to be wallpaper and sponge and take everything in?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you know, I learned how to not talk too much, but ask questions and, you know, just watch.
So when the album came out and it was done and it was a nice polished gift to the world, I mean, how did you feel about it? Were you pretty proud of the end result?
I was. I mean, when I was doing it, I was telling the cast like, oh man, it's just so many people on this album. Like, geez, I love everybody. I didn't think it was all gonna be on the same album. But you know, the final result, I was like, man, this is pretty impressive.
That's got to be endearing though from their eyes, because it's like you recently just got on with these people and you're so like perpetually appreciative. They must have been like this. It's almost like you've seen Swingers, right? Mm-hmm. He's like, man, you're so money, you don't realize how money you are. Like, you're just very humble and like, oh man, thank you guys. And like, no, dude, you're dope. Like, you're really dope, and we want to keep working with you. Like, that's probably, I mean, you kind of attribute that as being the reason why you formed these relationships with these people and worked together for so long, because they just, I mean, they've liked you for you from jump.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
So I kind of want to avoid the storm clouds. I mean, obviously, folks know about Love for Sale and whatnot, and what happened with that. But I'm curious as to, because kind of something I haven't seen people touch upon. But what, aside from your view towards the label, as an artist, how did you kind of proceed from there, from the album being shelved, in terms of like you're wanting to get music out and having the song within you? Like, did you kind of still feel compelled to write, or were you kind of just like dormant for a little bit?
I kind of didn't write anything for like 2 years, because what happened once the album was bootleg, the label kind of went into, we have to scramble, we have to make an album quick, and we're going to put you in the studio with all of these producers. We already paid them, just show up, write a tune, and let's keep it moving. And it kind of put me in a strange place, you know, because I don't really write music like that. So like I really got into a real contrived kind of deal, you know. I was writing to a lot of tracks, and they just all kind of started to sound the same to me. And like I started to even contrive my thoughts. Like I would just be thinking about some shit and be like, oh, that's actually what I'm thinking about could be a song. Like, damn, I'm not even thinking honestly anymore. So I just stopped, you know, and I just started to hang out with people that didn't really do music, and then I made friends with this cool cat that was a painter, Andre Mitwaya, he lived in this Soho, like the artsy place in New York, and I used to hang out in his crib. He painted really big, like Basquiat. He would lay his paintings on the floor and just paint all day, and I'd walk around and painting and just flick ashes and shit on the shit. He loved it, you know, like, dirty it up. Now I'm dancing in a circle. I'm gonna paint it. He was like a weirdo dude. he would say, dude, I'm not even a painter. And I'm like, are you kidding? Like, you're selling this stuff for like millions of dollars. And, you know, he's like, no, I'm actually a guitar player. And he only knew like 4 guitar chords, but he's like, I refuse to call myself a painter because once I do that, it's going to contrive the things that I do. So I'm just say I'm what I say I'm what I want to be, you know, and that way I don't even think about this art. It's like my side thing. It's still fun for me. And I was like, well then I'm an artist. I'm a painter. And when I started to think that way, music started to come back to me naturally.
That's got to be a fantastic feeling though, because I mean you've had from the age of 3 you're a showman, and then to have something like that just kind of break your spirit. I mean it must have been a beautiful thing to kind of come back to the sunlight and be you know, emerging again from the clouds. And so how did the process kind of start to writing songs again? Was it we got a end kind of project in sight, so am I just going to keep writing songs and once again like before just kind of see what happens?
I started to do a lot of shows behind the bootleg. I started doing a lot of shows behind the Love for Sale bootleg. You know, we would do shows, cats would just be there with their iPod, like, yo, play this one, can you see? I'm like, are you kidding me? Everybody has all of this. And for a minute, it was a downer, but then I'd be like, man, these cats really like this stuff.
Yeah.
Man, I should just keep doing what I like, you know what I mean? Instead of thinking I need to write to a bunch of dope tracks, I should just go back to doing it like I was doing it with Aaron Coleman, just sitting down at the piano, writing a song first. Like I would write a song, then go to his house, like, dude, let's put this down. And that's kind of how I started to write the tunes for this album, Airtight Revenge. Plus, you know, I had a computer, and I would wind up being real bored at my hotel. So I just started to accumulate like mad tunes on my GarageBand.
On GarageBand, you're using GarageBand.
Yeah.
There'd be a note, folks. GarageBand.
Yo, and I started to get real creative with it.
Yeah.
But it was just my own little thing. And then my drummer in my band, Steve McKee, he randomly we in a hotel, and I played him some stuff. He's like, oh my God, this is dope. And I was like, really?
Yeah.
And he's like, yo, when we get back, let's lay this, put it in the computer for real. Like, let's do it.
Were these just kind of skeletons at the time, or were you putting like tons of layers on? And
they were just skeletons, and I would just, you know, little stuff over it. But they were kind of the basic structure of the songs. Like a lot of the songs, we just loaded the GarageBand stuff in there and be like, oh man, that sounds just way too cheap. Let's pay for
the plugins.
Let's replay this sound and, you know, put some real drums on it. And then, like I said, Chuck Treese would hang out at the studio with us, and he would put guitar down when we needed it, and it just started to develop into something.
Yeah.